Hi guys, it's Cierra. Welcome back to the channel. This video is just going to be a little chit-chatty video about what it's like to be a writer. If you do not know me, like I said, my name is Cierra. I love to talk about reading and writing as a self-published author, but also writing on Substack. So this is just a chit-chat video. I don't have any points. I just wanted to chat what writing feels like because a lot of times writing feels amazing. It's great. I love it. Other times it feels like I'm running on E. And it's not because I'm like lacking ideas, but there are so many ideas and so many things going on that I'm like trudging through like quicksand, and I'm like getting dragged every second. It's a wild journey. God. It's kind of stressful, especially like when you're writing a book, like a book, a full-fledged book that's like over 100K words. Yeah, it's kind of daunting because I feel like, yeah, I'm gonna tackle this. See, my problem is whenever I get started with the book, I always like run through the ideas really fast, like a novella, and I'm like, wait, no, this is supposed to be a book. I'm like, fuck, this has to be like broken down, like bit by bit. Oh, it's gonna be a long time to write this. And so then that's when things get a little bit harder, but then at the same time I kind of like it because then I'm starting to get to know the characters more, what their problems are, what they like, what they don't like, how we're approaching certain situations, how they're navigating certain things. Because here's the thing, my characters talk back a lot. They talk back all the time. They always run in their mouth. They always got something to say. And they always like to talk to me when I'm about to go to bed too. I'd be like, can you not? So I end up putting like stuff in my notes app, and then I have to remember to get my stuff from my notes app to my notebook so I can like keep track of everything because there's stuff everywhere all the time. And I feel like a madman. I feel like that the meme of the guy on the whiteboard with the whiteboard and the pen and the crazy eyes. That's how I feel like 99% of the time as a writer. It doesn't feel normal. It doesn't feel normal at all. It feels always very hectic, very crazy. I feel like I'm always talking to myself. I talk to myself a lot. But I feel like I talk to myself even more as a writer because it's like always something coming up. I'm like, ooh, what about this? Ooh, what about that? Ooh, what about this? What about that? It's always something going on. Like I said, my characters don't know how to shut up. But even then, there's other characters or other storylines that come up, certain ideas. I have a lot of dreams, and some of my dreams, they sound like really good book ideas, so I have a whole notebook. I'm not gonna go grab it. Y'all have seen it before. My black notebook that have all my book ideas in it, and that's where everything pretty much goes. Yeah, so everything that is like up here or on my notes app gets put in that notebook. I have to put one idea in the notebook that's still on my phone that I've never moved over, so I need to move that over too. I have at least 10 tabs in that notebook. And it's not even just like book ideas, but like certain parts of a book that I wrote out from like I could make a major scene. Like for my sci-fi fantasy book, I actually have a whole freaking scene for the sequel. I'm like, girl, you didn't even finish the first book. Like, where did this come from? And I'm just like, you know what? I'm not surprised though. I'm not surprised. So that's exactly where my brain goes and how my brain processes everything that needs to be done. And then it's just pure chaos all the time. Okay? Even when I'm not writing my books, I am writing Substack posts. I'm coming up with different ideas. And as a reader too, reading books makes me come up with different ideas. So like how with February, I said it was a very hectic, mind-bending month because I was reading all of the darkest books I could ever read. Well, not the darkest books, but like I was reading a lot of heavy books. I read like Burn Down Master's House. I read Malcolm X's speeches. I'll find that. You see this book? This tiny ass book got this many freaking sticky notes because I had this many ideas. Which led to one of my posts that I absolutely love writing and people absolutely love reading it, and that is that as Black Americans and Africans, we're going through centuries of grief 400 years of grief. That's what we're dealing with. And I broke that down using the stages of grief in relevance to what we're experiencing as Black Americans and Africans. Yeah, I love that post. I'll put that link in the description box below too. I'm gonna need all of y'all hoes to read it. All of y'all Black people need to read it. Thank you. But like, that's what I mean. Like, I get so many ideas from this. I still have to do my Toni Morrison post. I also need to read all the Toni Morrison books. Like, it's completely like mind-bending. Like, I found an article about Toni Morrison's life. I watched a documentary, and there's also a separate video that I put in my watch later on YouTube with her talking about her books. I'm gonna integrate that in my post about her and her work, but I gotta read her work first. But her work is so heavy, which is why I stopped reading The Bluest Eye within like the first 10 pages, because I was like, ooh, this is some heavy stuff. But I am listening to Recitative. I'm listening to that book right now. I have like 3 days left. It's only a 2-hour book. I'm trying to hurry up and listen to it because I don't want to have to renew it. So I'm just trying to like go ahead and get to it. And then since that's being her only like short story, I'm like, great, fantastic, we can get through this. And then I can like write down like my thoughts on that separately and just put that in. I'll probably do like, I have an iPad, so I use Pages. I'll probably just do a paragraph about that book there instead of doing a whole separate video, because I want to add more and more and more to this ultimate post I want to do of Toni Morrison and doing my research, because like I said before, I never read Toni Morrison before. I've never heard of Toni Morrison before. And as a Black writer, a Black reader, I want to become more familiar. I need to become more familiar with other Black authors, writers, historical figures that I didn't know, that I haven't learned about growing up. But being an adult, and this is me doing my due diligence. This is me doing my research. So then after doing my research on Toni Morrison, putting all that together for her ultimate post, then it's Zora Neale Hurston, like diving into her and her work. Yeah, it's gonna be wild. Okay, there's so many people, Gwendolyn Brooks, like so many different people that I want to like dive into their work, and get to know them and have these posts. And I'll print it out. It'll be like an essay for me, and I'll just like have my own copies. That's another thing I need to do too. That's another thing about being a writer, because when you post your stuff online, like, yes, other people can read it, but you also need to keep your stuff records for yourself, especially for when it comes to applying for writing positions, because that's another thing that I'm trying to work out too, because I want to write full-time. That's my dream. So I need to like figure out how to create a writing resume. I need to have my samples. So then that means all my stuff on Substack. I also need to print off those copies of those posts and have my own physical copies of the work that I've done. And like have all of that relevance. I have all of that work and have it like in a binder, so it's everything I've written. So not only just my books that I've written and stuff that I'm working on, but my posts on Substack, because I write a lot. I write all the goddamn time. It's my problem and my greatest strength. So I want to have that. I want to have those copies to myself, have it on a flash drive too as well, and like just have a collection of my own work. So that way, when it comes to me sharing my work and sharing my pieces with other people, nothing gets misconstrued. First of all, because people love to grab only certain parts of information and be like, ooh, what was this about? It's like, actually, if you read the whole fucking thing, the whole piece, which is actually, here's a direct link to the whole piece. So don't sit here and try to crop my work because you're stupid. But also just to have my entire work, have everything together in one place, or in several places, having a flash drive, having physical copies, hell, even probably doing a book of all of my Substack work in the future, like long future, probably like when I'm in my 40s or whatever, like a collection of all my short essays or something like that. That would be freaking cool. Like, this is what my brain does. This is what it feels like to be a writer. Like, you're constantly on the go. Your brain is constantly moving, constantly coming up with ideas, which is why you need to have notes app. You need to have text to voice or anything like that. Like if you don't have time to write things down, I love carrying a notebook because sometimes I don't want to put it in my notes. I want to put it in a notebook. I want to have everything like as a physical copy, which is why I have my book ideas notebook. So I have all my book ideas there. So then whenever I'm struggling on what to write next, or maybe there's certain things that I'm missing, I know what's in my book ideas notebook. I know it's there because it's going to be, because all of my work is there. So if I'm wondering, like when I do get to the sequel for the sci-fi fantasy story, if I get to that specific part of the story and I'm like, man, I feel like there's something missing here, there's my notebook. It's like, oh, you wrote the whole scene already. It's like, oh, hallelujah, thank you. And I can just tweak it to how my writing style is like in the future, however I want to do it. But at least I have a concept, I have an idea there. And then, or if I have like stories in there that I'm like, these are book ideas, they could just be short stories. Like I can tweak them how I want, which is what I love about having that notebook, okay? So I feel like just as a writer, we're constantly coming up with ideas, constantly writing things down, constantly just thinking about different things. Because I feel like with being a writer, you're also a very active thinker. Very active. Probably a little bit overactive, probably sometimes, depending on the day. So, yeah. Which is why I do not need to be taking no type of substances, because my mind is already on a whirl on its own. I do not need to be taking nothing where people will be like, what if, blah, 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 blah. I don't need all that because my brain is already on 100. Actually on 150. Like, just ramped up. And it makes writing feel so awesome, but also so freaking frustrating because it's like, can we focus on one thing? I have never been diagnosed with ADHD at all, but I do recognize I've always had like some type of struggles with focus and attention when it comes to when my mind starts to think of different things, but I can put myself in place. I'll be like, focus up. Like the fact where I was like, I was thinking of working on Ghost of You, but then I was getting some short story ideas. I was like, I don't know which one I want to do. I'm like, you know what? Pause on Ghost of You. Write these short stories, because these short stories can be tied to these writing competitions. You write it, you send it out. Even if you don't get it, you have a collection of short stories. You have some stuff you can work with. And then once you write your last short story, which was the one that I just did, my novella, after you write that, then we can go back. We're gonna break this up, okay? I need you to calm down. This is what I tell myself all the time. Which is why now I'm on the focus of working on my books now. Writing those completely, one at a time. And as soon as one is done, I'll do like some line edits, which paper is expensive, but I'll have to print it out. I'll do line edits. But after line edits, I will have it out for beta readers. But the beta readers I'm probably gonna have beta readers, I'm gonna have them do like 3 months. You have 3 months to read this book, and that's fine. And within those 3 months, I'm not touching that. I'm on to the next one. So that way, when everything is done with that one, within those 3 months, however long I got into that book, if I've actually finished it, I do my line edits, send that off to beta readers, and then I go back to the first one. Like, wait until the cycle is done. So actually like pace myself and actually get things done along the way. So that's where I'm at right now when it comes to actually like writing my books, taking my time with writing those and having those rough deadlines for myself, and also just my mindset of where I am right now as a writer. Now Substack, I just write whenever I want to write, whatever I want to write. It's not always going to be something super long and poignant and thoughtful like my Malcolm X post. My Toni Morrison post is probably going to take me 2 months, maybe 3 to do, so that's fine. But like, I love writing sometimes just like short stuff that comes to my mind. Like how I wrote a post because I saw a video from Edvasion. I used to love his videos. I still watch his videos every now and then, but just not as much. But one of his videos was the TikTokification of Asian foods. So people calling it like, was it rice brothy or brothy rice or whatever? Calling conchas like seashell donuts or whatever. I'm like, see, this is what happens when you don't vote for Kamala Harris. And that's what I wrote. It's a short piece, but it's very accurate. This is what happens when you don't vote for Kamala Harris. You don't vote for Kamala Harris. Because black people told you what that's how it's going to be about. But y'all don't like to listen. Y'all don't like to listen to black people. And as soon as your culture is being twisted and made up in this really weird way, now all of a sudden you butt hurt, but y'all didn't want to listen to us. Okay. So I do like short pieces like that, or I just write what I want to write. Like I have a few posts coming up over there on, let me see. Like I have a post of having a crush as an adult, watching the When I See You music video from Fantasia, why Hollywood won't leave millennials and Gen X material alone, the Black Touch, so Black Twitter, Black Threads, Sister Act 1 and 2. It's in my segment of Failing Black Girl, which is watching media and consuming books and media just I haven't seen before as a black girl, and kind of like commenting on it, critiquing it, but also just like loving on our movies, even if some of these movies are not that good to me, but at least watching it. So like I watched Waiting to Exhale for the first time last year. I did a whole post on that type of thing. I also have a post coming up on the first. Wait, what am I filming? I am filming on the 16th. This is the 16th video. So on the 1st, I wrote Black Whimsy Humanizes Us, and that's the problem. I made y'all read it because I have been seeing a lot of people talk about Black Whimsy characters, Black ditzy characters, and just kind of like categorizing Black characters, but also just like loving the representation. And literally when watching those videos from different YouTubers, what I came to the conclusion was that Black Whimsy humanizes us. Black Whimsy is very human based. It's very much like finding flaws, having joy, funness, wholeness. That's what whimsy is. And when Black people are tied to it, that means we're being humanized, and people don't like that. So Black whimsy humanizes us, and majority does not like that because they want to put us in boxes. They don't want to humanize us. No, because they never want to humanize Black people. And especially they don't want to humanize Black women. Which is why a lot of our shows back then that do depict different Black women, we're able to see like, wow, that's a little bit of me. Wow, that's interesting. And then we see shows like today. There are some that do have some whimsy, but it's a lot of the times you're like, why are they written like this? Why are we depicted in certain ways? Especially like on reality dating shows. That's why, because they don't want to humanize us. They don't. So yeah, I write posts like that, things that just come up for me when it comes to just thinking. I do fun stuff too. I don't do just very like hardcore ones. You're like, oh my God, you're putting me in my feels today. Some softer ones. Yeah, I just post whatever I want on Substack. It's really just things that are on my mind, which is really why it's called On My Mind. And yeah, I just really have fun, a lot of fun over there. So yeah. Like I said, this was a very chatty, rambly video of what it's like being a writer. And this is exactly what it's like. As much as I'm talking about it, this is exactly what runs through my head like 24/7. So welcome to my mind. Oh my God, it makes me want to do a segment. You know what? See, this is why I need to stop. If you like this video, be sure to like it, comment below what being a writer is like for you. If you relate to any of these, drop down 3 brown heart emojis, I guess. And until next time, stay magical. Bye. Mwah.